Hello and welcome to another update video on Project Pelennor. Now, as promised, I do have a few things that I was going through my backlog, and I'm going through all of my Mordor Army right now. I've already gone through most of the orcs. You guys have seen all the Morannon orcs and most of the orc commanders and things like that. But there's been another wing of my Mordor army that I've been working on in secret, and that is my Black Númenóreans or Morgul Knights. These don't really show up in any of the movies per se. There is one in the extended edition of Return of the King. There is the Mouth of Sauron, who has a smile that just brightens up your day. And he is technically a Black Númenórean. For those who don't know, they are the Númenóreans who they went with Sauron back in the Second Age, I believe it is. And basically turned evil. They're evil men. So they were kind of lured in by the temptations that Sauron was offering them of immortality and things like that. Despicable people. And as such, they're all kind of pale-skinned, kind of like, black teeth. They look pretty gross, but they have some of the coolest looking units in the game, and their armor is amazing. It's like this kind of Baroque, like, I don't even know how it is. It looks sweet. It kind of takes, I think, the best parts of the ring wraiths, where they have like, the dark cloaks and they like kind of ominous thing, and just puts lots of like armor on them and gives them really, really bad dental hygiene. So I really like them. They're some of my favorite models in Games Workshop. I've always wanted to paint them, and it's kind of a spoiler because I really like how they're painted. They're so easy to paint. Seriously, it's a black undercoat, you do the armor, and then it's just a bunch of washes and like a light dry brush, and they're done. I'll show you guys some close-ups, but I would absolutely love to have almost an entire army of these, except Games Workshop has kind of dropped the ball in the sense where, as with many of their miniatures in this game, they have rules for a lot of these models. I don't necessarily have models, or at least good models, for some of these units. So that's kind of where there's a bit of a drawback. So we'll start with the Morgul Knights. I have, I think, 12 of these painted up. Might do a few more because I like them so much. But yeah, so again, pretty simple to paint. They are really good in the game because they cause terror, which means that more often than not, they will be doing the charging. And when you kind of combine them with one of the ring wraiths, which might be in a future video, they're pretty devastating from what I've seen. Still haven't used them yet. They're definitely going to be in one of my battle reports, which I know I've been talking about for like 6 years. It's coming along. Being in lockdown and quarantine and all that doesn't really help, as most gamers know. So yeah, they're kind of a shock cavalry, which realistically, Mordor has almost everything, but in terms of cavalry, they have wargs or these guys. And honestly, these guys give Riders of Rohan or even Royal Guard a run for their money, so I like them a lot. And thematically, I like having them kind of as almost like a bodyguard unit, maybe for one of the Nazgul. Yeah, so I've got 12 of them painted up, including a banner, which I wasn't sure if I was going to like, because it's just black and white. Like, it's very, very simple, but I like it. I don't know what it is. It does stand out, and it kind of fits with the whole motif. Even their horses, I gave them red eyes because the one close-up you look at of some of the Nazguls in Fellowship of the Ring, you see their horses have like red eyes. They look like almost like demonic steeds, and so I kind of assumed that might be some kind of like, I don't know, magical breed or something like that in Tolkien's universe. So I kind of made it so that the Black Númenóreans or Morgul Knights are also riding those kinds of same horses. So, of course, for anyone who plays this game, if you have mounted models, you better have their dismounts, because most players will probably aim for horses if they see a bunch of cavalry and knock them off, and they just become, kind of regular guys. So I did pick up some of the Black Númenóreans, which, admittedly, this is kind of where I'll kind of gripe on Games Workshop a little bit. They're kind of ugly. I like how they're painted, but there's only like 3 variations of the miniature, which if you were going to do like, if you're going to do a whole unit of like 24, only having like 3 poses, kind of lame. And there's not a lot of room for kind of like, you know, doing some kind of like mod work on them and like moving them around, and I don't know. It's just, they're okay. I'm kind of hoping that maybe Games Workshop one day will put out a box set of Black Numenorians, because they're a really cool unit. But, you know, it's probably a pipe dream. I have seen some really cool conversions that people have done using models from the Army of the Dead, and then some of the helmets from Morgul Knights. The only thing that sounds kind of expensive, because you have to buy basically like Morgul Knights and a box of Army of the Dead to have like, you know, just a few guys, and then you've got so many bits left. We'll see. Well, I might feel a little zesty after I try them on the tabletop, and I guess we'll see. Yeah. So again, 12 knights. I've got, I think I've got 8 of the Black Numenorians. So please don't kill all 12 of my knights' horses at once, because only 8 of them will hit the tabletop. I also, just because, again, he's just, you know, got the prettiest face, I also painted up the Mouth of Sauron, who I thought would be a nice little companion with them, because he is also a Black Numenorian, at least in Peter Jackson's kind of universe. And, yeah, I don't know, he's ugly. He's really ugly. I tried doing a lot of work with his mouth, but it's so small on this model that like I couldn't give it the detail or attention I really wanted to. I also do have his foot version as well, which I'll admit looks a little more badass between the two, because the mounted one's just pointing. This guy's actually got a sword ready to go. Aragorn's not chopping his head off this time. He probably will. He's not that great. But yeah, so I thought I would just have a little update of some of the Morgul or Knights and Black Numenorians. Yeah, so a really cool unit. Definitely going to try them out sometime. There's much more on the horizon. Something big in the next video. Both physically and figuratively. It big. So, until then, this has been another update video for Project Pelennor. Hope you guys are doing well.